Hi everyone, GWFawkes here. This is the Model Gaming Show Live. It is the week of, or it's April 5th, 2018, and we've got a bunch of little stories this week. Nothing too huge, at least for me personally, nothing too big, but I want to dig right into the biggest video game release this week, and that's an indie game called Minute, M-I-N-I-T. It's a Zelda-like game. It mimics the style of Zelda to the T. But the conceit is that you have 1 minute alive when you first find your sword. And that leads you to solve puzzles and do things different ways. And it's a cool game. I've watched a lot of gameplay footage on it so far. It looks very fun, and I'm definitely going to give it a try. On OpenCritic right now, it currently sits at an 80, which is pretty solid. And it's not supposed to be a long adventure, 6 to 10 hours, something like that. And so that's, for me, is the perfect length and size. So you'll probably be seeing me play that sooner rather than later. There's several smaller topics that I want to start with this week. The first is definitely a story of too little too late, or don't care enough, or we're trying to push more sales or whatever. But Shadow of War has removed all microtransactions. You can't get guys now in loot boxes and all that crap. And frankly, it's about 6 months after it initially released, and that basically means, hey, we're not making any more money off this dang thing, so let's remove all the microtransactions. We're not going to get any money there. Probably lower the price, get it ready for Steam sales and stuff like that, so that people will buy it. It's a BS move. I mean, this is something that everyone has been vocally against this entire time it's been out, so it's not like EA is just going like, oh, hey, we've been listening to your criticisms, we're going to remove this. They just decided to remove it, especially after Battlefront happened. For this not to happen immediately with that, just is kind of who cares, really. I know I'm bringing it up, so I can't say who cares, but at the same time, I thought it needed to be addressed. The next thing, another small thing, Chrono Trigger for the PC had a port released on Steam, and it was the mobile version. Everyone hated it. The graphics were terrible, yada yada yada. So now, maybe a month later, a patch is going to be released for this, for the original graphics patch. So you can play the game as originally intended and how it was on the SNES. Hooray. Not too little too late, a month and a half, not a big deal. But yeah, I'm glad they at least took the action, took the steps, and are officially releasing a patch. So another big news, Hitman, the studio, has been purchased by Warner Brothers, and they have now announced that Hitman Definitive Edition, right, is coming of the first season. It's going to include all the first season stuff, all the random DLC stuff, all the little stories, everything all in one package. That's releasing on May 18th, so coming out soon. I haven't played that, and I watched my friends play it, and it seemed really interesting. It seemed fun. I'm probably going to pick that up when it's released. I know Warner Brothers is just as bad as EA and Activision and all those guys, but at the same time, at least we get all this nice package all in one. And speaking of that, another remastered edition in the vein of Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, what's it called? Spyro Reignited trilogy is being released. So that's Spyro, Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon. I think they all came out on PS1. I don't know if there was any PS2 Spyros, or if there is, they're going to release another version. But they've all been remastered. It looks very much like the Crash Bandicoot trilogy that was released. It looks in that vein. I don't know if that's going to make people happy or not. Those are two franchises I've never played. I've never played Crash, and I've never played Spyro. They are always talked about and revered, and they both look fun. I will probably give them a try when the PS5 is released and the price of the PS4 drops. I'll pick up a PS4, and start going through that back catalog. But the main thing, the title of the episode, is Insomniac's Spiderman. Amazon kind of outed it early, and then Marvel and Insomniac just decided to just go, okay, screw it. We're just gonna, or Sony, we're just gonna release it, release that information. So Spider-Man is releasing on September 7th. And I think it's interesting. If you've noticed the releases of all these games, right? Everything has been avoiding Red Dead. They're all coming out before, and this is going to be in the same month as Call of Duty and I think Battlefield, right? Or is Battlefield, whatever. But they're all kind of coming out early, and September 9th, I think, is a lot closer than many people thought it was going to be. I know they had this big buzz and everything, and they've released more information, the biggest of which is that Mary Jane is going to be a playable character. Now, in what capacity, who knows? She could just be a bit part, it could just be small things, but that's exciting. You get to play as Mary Jane for the first time. There's planned DLC for it already for the first year. I think there's 3 planned, and one of them is a Black Cat thing, so it could involve Mary Jane in that. Who the hell knows? Kingpin was also announced as another villain, not necessarily working in cahoots with Mr. Negative, I think that's his name, the main villain of the game, but as another side villain. Shocker was also announced as like a mini boss, because of course he's always going to be a mini boss. Yeah, I'm actually super excited for this game. It's been a while since I played a Spider-Man game. Spider-Man 2 was the last one I played. That was a long time ago, and that was really fun. There's not much like in video games swinging on a web through a city. There's really not that feeling. I'm trying to think of anything. You know, you have Crackdown when you're bounding through cities, and you got oh man, I'm totally blanking on the GTA clone that everyone loves. Oh my goodness. Whatever. But it's like got 4 or 5 in the series already. 4 in the series. Saints Row. Geez, Saints Row, the Saints Row the 4th or whatever. You could be like a god and jump around and fly around, whatever. But swinging is something different. This game looks really damn good and polished. And reading the Game Informer article, it got me way more excited. Again, I don't even have that system, but that along with God of War, I mean, Sony just keeps pumping out the great single player games, truthfully. And that is where my head's at now. And so I don't know why I have not gotten a PS4. I need to get on that sooner rather than later. So yeah, I'm super excited for Spider-Man. He's actually one of my favorite superheroes. Always has been. You always gotta kind of root for the underdog, but in this case, he's so powered, and I think they've done an incredible turnaround recently, especially with Spider-Man Homecoming and him having a little bit in Civil War, and now he seems to be a fairly big part in Infinity War in the movie side. So they've really course corrected on that. Tom Holland is great, and it really looks like Insomnia. It's funny, when it was first announced and you saw it, like everyone not questioned Insomniac. Insomniac is I think I said Insomnia. Insomniac is a great studio, but they did the Infamous games, which I really liked. I really liked those games. I still haven't played the one for the PS4, obviously, but that seemed like a perfect transition from the on-rails sliding stuff that you can do and that kind of powers to Spider-Man. I felt like that was the perfect studio, and I'm really excited for what they're going to do with it, and I hope it's... I just hope it's like a long game. I know I usually say short games are better and all that crap, but 12 to 15 hours I think would be great. 15-hour Spider-Man game, 20-hour Spider-Man game, I'm all in. Just flying around the city and doing all that stuff. Okay, Assassin's Creed, I guess, is the other one where you're on rooftops and whatnot, where you could say, but that's swinging around the city. There's not going to be anything like that. So, all right, that's going to do it for this week. Again, I'm GWFawkes, GWFawkes. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram. Also, this is the Model Gaming Show. You can catch me here every Thursday, usually at 7:30. I'm going a couple hours early. Frankly, I'm moving, and I'm going to be in the next spot for hopefully a while and have a much better setup, much better layout, and that's going to be exciting. I'm excited to be more consistent, and my move should allow for that. So it's going to catch me every Monday and Thursdays at 7:30s normally. I think I'm changing the time. I think I'm going to move it to 8. It's a little bit better of a time for me, and I think it'll be less confusing. 7:30. 8 o'clock is just a harder, hey, started coming on at 8. That way it'll give me enough time to allow with my work schedule and everything like that. So again, thank you for watching. I appreciate anybody who catches this live or on the archives. You can find all my archives at YouTube, Model Gaming Show. So check me out, and thank you.